Ain't nobody's running, ain't nobody's hiding, nobody's ducking. I mean, Crawford's going to be right there, ready to trade blows with Canelo Alvarez. Why did you use that word war? Why are you feeling that way?
If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford.
For me, Crawford could see everything coming. He could see everything coming that Canelo threw at him. He was reading it so well. His guard was so tight as well when he was up at the ropes, when he was exiting, looking to move around.
They looked about the same size, but that was a brilliant performance. And what can you say? I mean, you got to give him his credit. He created a lot of history. He dreamt this fight. He willed it to happen. A lot of people, not me, but a lot of people laughed at him and said, forget about it, no chance against a bigger guy like that.
Stephen A. Smith had a strong reaction to Canelo Alvarez losing to Terence Crawford. He said Crawford had been aiming for this fight for a long time to secure his legacy. In his view, Crawford stepped up when it mattered most and came out on top, taking the spotlight from Canelo. Smith pointed out that this wasn't just any victory, it was a major turning point.
Division world champion out of Omaha, Nebraska. He's undefeated, 41-0 with 31 KOs. And he begged for this fight. He wanted Canelo bad because to him, it's all about legacy. I'm not speculating. I'm telling you what I know. And how would I know? It's because I interviewed him. Yesterday, we sat down. Here is my conversation with the one and only Terence Crawford challenging Saul Canelo Alvarez, moving up 2 weight divisions to do.
Max Kellerman agreed that Crawford's performance was historic and marked a major milestone in his career. He analyzed Canelo Alvarez's loss with a sharp take, saying it was like stepping into a much tougher weight class and facing a dangerous opponent who forces you into a real fight for the first time. Kellerman pointed out that truly confident fighters go after tough challenges without fear of size, speed, or power. He praised Crawford for having that fearless attitude and reminded everyone that for years, no one dared to openly call him out. To Kellerman, Crawford earned his spot among the sport's most respected by taking on that test.
Giving up or having to jump up 2 more weight classes and fight a guy who might put him in a dogfight, a real one, for the first time in his career.
When we get put in that position, we go find opposition to make that happen. You understand me? So when we go looking for the opposition, we're not concerned about how big they are, how fast they are, how strong they are. We feel like we got enough that we can bring to the table with anybody. That night I fought John Ruiz, I didn't care who was over there. Whoever they brought out that locker room was going to get it. You understand me? That's just what it was. And I think Bud kind of has that feeling. Now, Bud, you got to remember, has been around for a long time. Nobody called him out. You understand me? All the time Floyd came at the boxing, Floyd never said, I want Bud Crawford.
No one ever said his name.
Hey, all I know is one thing. Israel Mazrimov, he didn't get it. He barely lost.
Yeah, but I was just saying, but nobody called him.
Shakur Stevenson has always looked up to Terence Crawford, but after Crawford's big win over Canelo Alvarez, his respect grew even stronger. He said Crawford didn't just talk before the fight. He backed it all up and showed why he's so highly respected. Shakur shared that since the start of his own career, he studied Crawford's technique, mindset, and discipline. Seeing his role model achieve something so historic proved to him that true greatness comes from years of hard work and consistency. To Shakur, Crawford isn't just a champion. He's a mentor who sets the bar for what younger fighters should aim for.
Canelo said he was going to outbox him. He did exactly what I called years ago. And tonight he proved that he's the greatest boxer that ever lived.
In the interview with Dimwit, you said, you felt like going on a run watching that tonight. How much inspiration can you take from someone like Terence?
I take everything from him. I've been around him since I was a kid. And just watching that greatness.
Stephen A. Smith talked about how focused Terence Crawford was before facing Canelo Alvarez. He pointed out that while many fighters might have asked Canelo to drop to a lower weight, Crawford chose to fight him at 168 pounds, right in Canelo's comfort zone. For Crawford, it wasn't about making things easier, it was about chasing a lasting legacy. Stephen reminded everyone that Canelo is still one of the top names in boxing, with titles in several weight classes. The fact that Crawford went after exactly what Canelo had, without holding back, showed just how determined he was to achieve greatness on the toughest stage.
31-0, Molly, with 31 knockouts. He's taken on all comers. I asked him, you're moving up in weight. Why would you not try to get Canelo to come down from 168 to 160 to meet you halfway, since his last fight was Crawford's last fight was at 154? Crawford said, I want what he has. I want to go take it. I don't want to make I don't want him making concessions and alterations. I'm coming to take what he has. And you look at him, and no one believes that he can't pull it off. He can box, he can punch, he's smart, he's elite, and he wants Canelo. He begged Canelo for this fight.
Aid Oladipo pointed out how much public opinion shifted about Terence Crawford. Before the fight, many doubted him, saying he was too small, too old, and not built to handle someone like Canelo Alvarez at a higher weight. But after the fight, those same critics were quick to praise him, forgetting the doubt they had just voiced. Aid stressed that Crawford earned every bit of that recognition because he didn't take an easy path. Moving up from lighter weight classes to face a dominant fighter like Canelo was a huge risk. By winning so clearly, Crawford showed that what truly matters isn't size or age, it's skill and relentless determination.
Crawford did it again a few hours ago against Canelo. And what makes it even special or more special for Crawford is that he did it jumping up, as we know, a couple of weight classes. He did it against one of an all-time or another fellow all-time great. And he did it against someone who was undisputed and still a pound-for-pound top 10 guy. That's what Crawford did, people. So, all those things people were saying in the lead up to this fight, Canelo's going to be too strong, Canelo's too experienced, Crawford's going to be 38, all that. You have to remember all of that when you give Crawford his flowers. Now, don't like, oh, well, Canelo looks old. No. I don't want to hear any of that. I've started to see a few people on Twitter start to kind of sort of find excuses already. No. Remember everything you said, because Crawford deserves all of that. All of that. Crawford was incredible. Honestly, in the pocket, he was at times showing Canelo, no, I'm stronger than you. I'm going to bully you. Oh, you think you're going to get me in the clinch because you're Mr. 168? No, look at the size of me. I'm jacked as well. I'm swole. And he was moving Canelo around. So by doing that, he got his respect. He didn't switch to orthodox once, stayed in the southpaw stance because he realized early, oh, Canelo don't like this. Canelo does not like this southpaw stance. Canelo's tripping over himself. I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to switch it. I know I like this work. I'm going to stay here. On the ropes, it's like, okay, come in. Because when you come in, I've got that as well. And I can hurt you as well. Spinning off the ropes. His jab was fantastic. They put up the jab numbers. He was out jabbing Canelo it was almost like 10-1. Maybe even 20-1. It was fantastic. And when he needed to land those power shots, he was landing those power shots. It was an incredible performance.
The Wade concept analyst pushed back against the idea that Canelo Alvarez lost because he's past his prime. He made it clear that Crawford is actually older than Canelo, so age can't be used as an excuse. On top of that, Canelo had the edge in size, power, and experience in the weight class. Even with those advantages, he still couldn't beat Crawford. WD emphasized that this win wasn't about Canelo fading, it was about Crawford rising to a whole new level. By shutting down the excuses, he made it clear that Crawford's victory was real, well-earned, and truly historic.
More tight, more fundamentally sound. While Canelo, even when he was able to get to range, which wasn't a lot, it wasn't often, he was having a hard time landing clean because everything was super wide and out here and to the body out there. And Crawford would either circle out to that same side, to Canelo's lead hand side. He would circle away because Canelo would step straight to Crawford and chase him and not necessarily cut him off. And even when he threw that hook, I was looking for the hook from Canelo. Right hand as he stepped through, right? Corral with the lead hand, bang the right hand because you're fighting a southpaw. So yeah, your jab may not be as effective in landing and managing distance and all those things, even though for Terence it kind of was. For Canelo, I was expecting a lot more of that right hand down the middle and over the top, and then jabbing his way, feint jab right hand, and then that lead hook that I thought he would be able to corral Crawford, because Crawford did want to move away from Canelo. He did. He wanted to move away from that power hand. Smart to do. Canelo never took that extra step to step outside of Crawford's lead foot. Again, that orthodox southpaw matchup, it's always going to be a battle of that lead foot. He never took that next step to get outside of that lead foot and then step through Crawford, step to his left where Crawford was going and land his right hand. He just felt like he was falling off to his right with his right hand, and once he fell off to his right after he threw the right hand, there was no follow-ups because he was off balance and Crawford was out the gate and circling back to reset the action. This was a masterful display from Terence Crawford. And again, I looked at this fight, and I don't want to do the thing where I said, oh, Canelo's washed. He's over the top. He's old. Terence Crawford's older than Canelo. Is he as weathered as far as fights are concerned? No. But you can only do one thing when talking about this fight, and that is give credit to Terence Crawford. If you want to say Canelo looked old, that's fine. That's on you. I'm not going to say.
Former world champion Carl Froch broke down how Crawford changed tactics in the middle rounds. He explained that after rounds 6 and 7, Crawford saw the need to step up and take more control. His jab became a key tool, disrupting Canelo's rhythm and pushing him backward. Froch highlighted Crawford's smart timing, noting how he knew the exact moment to shift gears. Instead of letting the fight slip into Canelo's pace, Crawford took charge and became more aggressive, making sure the momentum stayed with him.
Combination punches on the back foot, sort of dictating the pace. And then after about round 6 or 7, Canelo Alvarez knew, 1 second. I need a little freshener. Canelo knew he had to step on the gas. He knew he needed to put the fight on its front foot and take it to Terence Crawford and start to try and catch him and bang him on. And when he headbutted Crawford, I thought that could be the start of it. A little bit of a nut, get that down. Yeah, I don't know if there was a cut, but the referee stopped and had a look, and I thought now Canelo's going to step on the gas. And he did that. He stepped on the gas, he started getting in close, and he started landing a few more shots than he was in the previous rounds, but it wasn't enough. Terence Crawford was able to catch and counter. He was landing a sneaky uppercut from the southpaw stance. He was dominating behind his jab, and then when Canelo stuck it on him, he was dominating up close in the pocket. He was beating him at his own game. Canelo Alvarez must have been fuming in there. He must have thought to himself, what can I do? He couldn't do anything. He needed to pick up the pace, put the pressure on, and sustain the attacks. And I don't want to take anything away from Terence Crawford, but Canelo Alvarez couldn't do that. He couldn't do it for long enough. Crawford looked like he could have done 20 rounds in there tonight at that pace, the way he was dictating and controlling. And Canelo Alvarez was getting marked up, he was breathing heavy, he was getting tired, he was reaching with shots, and it was getting torn apart. It was an absolute masterclass by Terence Crawford. Canelo tried, Canelo came and he had a go, but to be honest, I don't want to rain on the parade of Crawford, but Canelo Alvarez, for me, is well past his best now. He's seen better days. He hasn't got the pace, he hasn't got the fitness to sustain the attack. Afterwards in the interview, he said, I felt great, it's great, I feel good. And don't forget, Crawford's a couple of years older. So I think it's the miles on the clock. Canelo Alvarez had like 67 fights. I know Crawford's had a fair few fights, but he's about 20 fights behind him. So the miles on the clock have caught up with Canelo Alvarez. He's feeling the pace, he's feeling the age.
Former world champion Carl Froch broke down how Crawford changed tactics in the middle rounds. He explained that after rounds 6 and 7, Crawford saw the need to step up and take more control. His jab became a key tool, disrupting Canelo's rhythm and pushing him backward. Froch highlighted Crawford's smart timing, noting how he knew the exact moment to shift gears. Instead of letting the fight slip into Canelo's pace, Crawford took charge and became more aggressive, making sure the momentum stayed with him. Former world champion Carl Froch broke down Crawford's smart move in the middle rounds. He said that after the 6th and 7th, Crawford knew it was time to step in and take control. His jab became a key weapon, throwing Canelo off his rhythm and pushing him back. Froch praised Crawford's sharp thinking, pointing out how he changed his approach at just the right time. Instead of letting the fight play out on Canelo's terms, Crawford took over and made sure the momentum was his.
Constantly throwing the lead left hook to try and cut this off. And when he did get his foot to the outside, that was an option. But over time, Crawford, as he always does, as the genius boxer that he is and is able to do, starts to find those counter punches. And there was 2 counters in particular that I noted during the fight that I felt were absolutely key for Crawford. The first was the counter off that left hook to the body. Now, Canelo did land these sometimes. That left hook he throws, the lead left hook, is quite unpredictable. But he started to land it quite effectively to the body from time to time. But what Crawford was doing was he was catching it with his elbow, and then he'd throw the straight left hand back at Canelo as a counter shot. He'd throw multiple shots. And what I really loved about his counter work was he'd never throw more than singles or 2s or 3s. He never got carried away. He never did too much with Canelo. Don't get me wrong though, Canelo was still defensively very astute in this fight, but he simply didn't have the foot speed to get to Crawford. He couldn't do it. And he didn't want to use his own jab because I believe Crawford's lead hand is so effective that southpaw stance really meant he could dominate the fight with his own lead hand. Canelo's not a massive jabber himself, but now that he was fighting someone closer to his size, I thought he might try and implement a jab, but he didn't because Crawford's counters were just too fast and too good. There was a couple of moments in this fight, and I said in my prediction I thought that you'd see Crawford in moments looking absolutely electric and just outclassing Canelo, looking too fast and lighting him up. And we saw that. I'll never forget the beginning of round 9 where he actually stood in the pocket with Canelo and he just rolled with the shots and he was throwing counters. It was absolutely brilliant. But the second counter that he used that was really effective was he'd allowed Canelo to throw that single right hand, that straight right hand, that backhand for Canelo, make him miss and come back with his own straight left hand over the top. I also thought that Crawford stabbing to the body was very good. He'd throw straight shots to the body, and that was something I predicted from the Lara fight that he would be able to do. That was also where I got the idea with the exits that I felt would be useful. And the reason we knew they'd be useful and important was because of Saunders just not really dealing with them too well.
Dan Rafael shared an interesting view on how the fight was seen before it happened. He noted that a lot of fans and experts laughed at the idea of Crawford beating Canelo, but Crawford never saw it as out of reach. According to Rafael, Crawford didn't view the size gap as a real issue. He saw Canelo as an equal. That confidence showed when he stepped into the ring. Rafael highlighted that self-belief often separates winners from losers. By ignoring the outside doubt and trusting himself, Crawford was able to deliver a stunning upset and change what people thought was possible.
Rounds where he really started to back the supposed bigger guy up, although for me, they looked about the same size. But that was a brilliant performance, and what can you say? I mean, you got to give him his credit. He created a lot of history. He dreamt this fight. He willed it to happen. A lot of people, not me, but a lot of people laughed at him, said forget about it, no chance against a bigger guy like that. But he showed his greatness.
You spoke about looking to back up Canelo in the fight, as you mentioned there, before it took place. How much of a surprise was it, though, just to see how comfortable he felt doing so?
I think it took him a little while to figure out that, you know what, he doesn't hit as hard as some people were saying, and that I can get in and out, and I'm going to be able to stalk him and walk him down a little bit. And he had Canelo extremely frustrated. And so I guess I was a little surprised he was able to do it, especially in those last couple of rounds. But he definitely was the guy that was going forward and back in. I mean, I've been watching Canelo for his entire career as a known fighter. This is my 24th Canelo Alvarez fight in person. I can't say that against anybody, including big punchers like Triple G and Kovalev and people like that saw him get forced back. That's not normal for a fight with Canelo Alvarez.
And given your time covering Canelo Alvarez and those defeats that he's had in his career, but Bivol tonight amongst other kind of contentious decisions, how much is this one going to hurt? Because there's always been those question marks for the last few years. Is he on the decline? Now there's going to be more question marks. Is this the end of the road for Canelo, certainly at the elite level?
I mean, listen, and this is not a disrespect to Canelo, because everybody who has ever read me, followed me, listened to me knows I love Canelo. I think he's one of the greats of all time. I think you can make a really good argument.
Crawford's longtime trainer, Brian "Bo" McIntyre, ended the conversation with a heartfelt message about his fighter's legacy. He said he has always believed Terence Crawford is the greatest of all time, and this win finally proved it to everyone else. Bo McIntyre added that while Crawford deserves a break after such a tough journey, retirement isn't happening anytime soon. Instead, Crawford will rest and recover before deciding what's next. For Bo McIntyre, the most important thing is that the world now sees the greatness he's known all along. His words showed pride and a deep sense of justice for all the hard work and sacrifice they've shared.
Bo Mac, you've been training Crawford for years. Do you think, okay, is he the greatest of all time? Because now people are putting him in the conversation of greatest of all time.
You know that.
You think so?
You know I know.
Okay, what's next for him? You've been training for years. What's next for him? The fans want to know. What's next for him?
Break. Take a break.
Is he retired or is he going to keep fighting?
You just got to take a break.
How are you celebrating? Listen, congratulations to you. Listen, congratulations to you. How are you celebrating?
Just go have dinner with my wife, man.
Okay, well, are you trainer of the year?
I'll let the critics worry about that.
Last question. Is Terence Crawford retired or is he going to keep fighting?
Oh, he's going to keep fighting.
He's going to keep fighting?
Yeah.
You're the man. Be man. Hey, congratulations. Enjoy the win.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a wrap for today's video. Stay tuned for more. See you next time.